Actually, not a very good card. I'm actually going to lead here, I think. The reason why I say it's not good is if he's got something like kings, he's going to be a little bit scared we've got a queen. And he's going to slow down. Once he just folds, we can be pretty sure he just had, I think, ace, king, ace, jack. Jack 10, whatever. I am going to bet bottom left. It's a little bit gutsy. But I just think that it's our best chance to win the hand is to bet at this point. A small C bet. Bottom middle there. I feel like this guy's got 7s or 5s. We may have the best hand. Could have 9s, I guess. 10s. Okay. I knew it was going to be close. I didn't really think we needed to turn our hand into a bluff, but it's an option. Especially on the spade turn. I mean, but he could have, you know, could have spades. So it's a little bit of a concern, but if he does have a hand like he had, we can get him to fold it, I think, with a turn bet. I think it just looks pretty strong. And I've got him marked as a non-fish, let's just say. So he's probably going to think, well, aces up's bet into 3 players. And after calling UTG open, so I don't think he's going to have much worse than 10s to be betting again. He's probably going to have a flush. I guess he might think 9s, though, is possible, maybe 8s, so it'll be close. But I think he'd think trips, a flush, maybe jacks even. I think I'm just going to call with jack queen here. Seems a bit cold in here, guys. A little bit cold. Ace queen. Oh my god, I can't get this button. Guess we have to fold here. Do we? It's kind of close because we're getting 2-1, and if we flop a pair, we can probably get the bounty off the guy, but it's just too many chips. That's kind of optimistic thinking. Kind of obliterates our stack if we're wrong. We're kind of in a pretty nice spot with over 5k and, you know, a couple of shortish stacks out there. So I didn't really want to jeopardize that. I mean, when I say obliterates our stack, I mean, we can call and fold post, but yeah, I mean, I think if he had a bigger bounty, we'd go for it, but his bounty's so small anyway. Yeah. Or 7. Gutser. It's probably not... Wow. It's pretty close. I kind of want to go with the check raise, but I'm going to fold it. Definitely close one. I just think we're probably bluffing on the turn just a little bit too often with like 0 equity. If we had a heart on the flop, then, you know, sometimes we're going to pick up a flush draw. We can bluff a little bit more profitably. I think I'm going to lead small here against this guy. This doesn't have to work very often. It's a little bit unorthodox. It's not a line I would take a lot, but I think too often he's just c-betting flop randomly with crap. And we've just got such a hand low down in our range that turning it into a bluff on the turn, I think, is okay. Sometimes we'll do that with, you know, flushes as well, just to get value. But we do have to remember that he's just button, so we can have a pretty wide range. And we can flop the nuts. Can and have. We just had a hand on the other table there, guys. Looks like a pretty easy jam to me. UTG. Yeah, we're only M5. I was going to say we could probably bet small there, but then I thought, well, any ace is probably going to call. Oh, man. Yeah. Big pot. Big pot. Tough to hold. Wow, he did just raise with an ace, that guy. It is tough to hold. That's what we wanted to see. Ace, queen, and ace, queen. But it is tough going out there. And that means we need more bluffing. I feel like Devilfish. Devilfish always complained about running bad. And he actually seemed like he had a life where he ran pretty bad. Well, he had a good life, but poker-wise, I mean, he, I don't know about it. He's not regular life how he ran, but poker-wise, he did actually seem to run pretty bad. Of course, he always made a bit of a fuss when he got bad beats, so it might have made it look worse than it was. But, you know, he just did seem to get unlucky a lot, which is not unusual in a lifetime of, especially live poker. Very easy to get, you know, very easy to get unlucky over a lifetime. If you're just playing live events, you know, because it's not a big sample. Some of you are thinking, well, it's a whole lifetime. But if you look at it like in a like on pokerdope.com in the tournament variance calculator, and you put in like 10,000 tournaments, average buy-in $1,000, you're going to have massive variance. And I don't think you're going to be able to put together 10,000 tournaments in a lifetime. I think I might just shove that. I think I'm going to raise this guy here, to be honest. And if he shoves on us, I'm just going to hate life. Fold. Calling's not too bad, but... he just folds, that's fine. Had the gut shot. 1 over. Backdoor flush. Positive thinking. And there's just that flop check raising that you've seen. It's really important to maintain that flop check raising. And before you heard me talking about how could we check raise with, I think we had 4-7 of hearts and the flop was 5-8 king with no hearts. We had a gutser. I think that's the stage you really want to be getting at, is trying to like, can we? But can we? You know, really trying to find all the check raises you can. Trying to squeeze them out. Because they're really important, because players just exploit by c-betting a high frequency because it's profitable to do so. So they're in the habit of just c-betting way too wide. And your response should be, from an exploitative point of view, but also from a game theory optimal point of view, to attack that with check raises. And players just don't do it enough. So you and I are going to be doing a lot of check raising, taking advantage of that until players start doing it more. If they do. And if they do adjust, start check raising more, then players should adjust back and stop c-betting as much. And then what will happen is players aren't c-betting as much, so players will stop check raising as much. And then players will start c-betting again more. And those players have got lazy and they've stopped check raising. And then they'll realize they have to start check raising again. And then on it goes in cycles. I think I will let again here, actually. It's pretty close, I think, here. But I just think we probably have good equity against his range. I didn't really want to let free card come off, but didn't hate a free card either, so it was close. I do think we can get value against some of his, weaker pairs and straight draws and combo draws, where he's got like 7-9 bottom pair with an up and down. This guy's just slapped us with a mini raise here, so I'm going to call. Try and ruin his life post. So annoying. I'm just going to fold top right. I was close to check jamming, but it could end up being an epic spew, but decided to go for the squeeze here. I think this is a play that was really effective a couple of years ago, but I do feel it's not as effective now as it used to be, so you've got to be careful doing this. Just because someone always calls, they just never fold. They have an inability to fold, these guys, and they get a bit floaty from that point on. So it can end up costing you a lot because you get into this situation where you've got to start barreling at high frequency and really trying to tell the story, which gets a bit risky, can get a bit spewy. He's min raise a flop. Can we win a flip, please? Heart? On time, heart. Yeah. It's just so tough out there to win a hand. I think I'm just going to fold it now. He could just min raise there, like just to tester. Just tell me if you have anything. I wouldn't be too surprised. Seems like something these guys might do, but at the end of the day there, we've got the queen high board. We've only got ace high, so we don't have many outs to improve if we don't have the best hand and we're out of position. So that's why I was just saying you've got to be pretty careful in those spots. You don't really need to do it that often as a bluff. I mean, ace 10's not a bad hand to do it with. It's pretty strong. And we probably did have the best hand pre-flop. But you've got to remember that you're going to be called a lot, out of position. You're only going to flop a pair around a third of the time. And so you're going to be in a tough spot a lot, especially when they then get sticky post. So because that's the case, you can just sort of do it more for value. I mean, my ace 10 there is kind of a value. It's not really a bluff. It's just if I take the pot down pre, that's a good result. If we get called, well, we probably have the best hand going into the flop. And I didn't really want to play with that hand out of position three-way. Prefer to get a heads up, or like I said, a lot of the time, well, hopefully a decent percentage of the time, everyone folds. Hopefully enough to make it profitable. But like I said, it's questionable because they just don't like folding, these guys. They hate it. They just hate to fold. And so that being the case, I think I will 3-bet the ace-king here. We're only 6-handed. It's a min-raise call. I'm just going to make it this much. I don't expect to get fold. I expect to at least get a caller here. Wow, it's kind of a bad flop because you could have some king queens and stuff, but I think I will bet it and try and fold out like sevens and stuff like that. It's a little bit annoying if he jams here. I guess he's put half our stack in. I just a little bit worried about how many outs we got. I think I'm going to fold here, which is annoying again. Getting ourselves in trouble here by getting ourselves not hitting flops and being out of position is the combination. Not hitting flops and being out of position in bloated pots is what's happening at the moment. It's awesome when you hit the flop and then you look like a genius because you got the guy crushed, which I dare say we would have on the flop. I think a better line in that situation is probably, and what I was going to do was check jam flop. And that's what I should have done, I think. I think that would have been a much better line. We've got the gut shot with the 2 overs. Yeah, just a little bit concerned, like if we check flop, kind of caps our range in our opponent's mind, and all of a sudden I feel like he's going to get to showdown a fair bit, but I think I'll call here because we cover these guys with the king 7. Wow, that guy snapped pretty quick with ace 10. I mean, he did cover the guy, but I think he already had in his mind, well, I cover this guy, so if he jams, I'm calling, but it's kind of loose call. Yeah, I mean, just those bad flops before, that queen jack X, but I do think once there's a K in there and we've got 4 behind, probably just check jamming flop is the best option, I think. The thing that concerned me is just that if he does have king jack, ace jack, king queen, which I think he could have, I guess even maybe ace queen. The thing that concerns me is that we only have 7 outs instead of 10. So we only have 28% instead of 36-ish. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, but in hindsight, I think... Well, it's actually more than I thought, isn't it? It was 5. Well, we got 5k behind, but there was 2 in there. Yeah, definitely. I don't like this play, actually, betting here. Bet folding, I think, is bad at that point. I think check jamming or even... Yeah, I think check jamming is the best, actually, by far. It was a bit botched, that hand. I think I was a bit frustrated because I missed the flop and haven't been winning any flips, and just ace 10 just got missed the flop in that one as well. And just a little bit too hastily went for the c-bet there. Nice flop top right there. I think I'm going to bet again here. Did we c-bet flop? I think that's what happened, right? I feel like he's got, I think it's going to be close, this one. I wonder if he ever has like ace 9 of hearts or something like that. Try and get some value here from this guy. Wow, he's bet so small, that's really annoying. Oh, that's a pretty bad card there, the queen. Wow. This is pretty weird the way this hand's played. Wow, we flopped 2 pair. That's pretty annoying here. We're getting out flopped like crazy. Ace 9? Just pocket 5s. Wow, what a donk. This is really close to 7s here. I guess we're such in getting... I feel like he's got ace X of hearts so often. I think just in case he's missed hearts or has got a straight draw like that, some fish hand, we better call. Yeah, so... yeah, that was a bit of a botch, wasn't it? That 313. I think I'm just going to call there. Bit of a botch bottom middle. I just was really struggling to put the guy in hand because he checked back flop and then bet turn. So I'm like, how does he check flop bet turn? Like, what takes that line? And then I convinced myself that it's probably a hand like, you know, ace 7 with a club or king 10 with the king of clubs or something like that, where he's semi-bluffing. And so then when the queen came and then he shoved, I was like, well, you know, seems pretty bluffy. I don't mind the call. I expect to see just like ace 10 with a club or king 9 with a club a lot. But he actually had, I guess, you know, one of the few hands that he can play that way, which is, you know, other than sets and two pairs, which he gets a bit tricky with. So we really just do not seem to be hitting any flops, do we? And it's making life a little bit difficult for us. I think I'll probably just get this ace queen in, I think, if he had a jammed. But I don't think he's going to jam too often there. Yeah. It's interesting. I was going to check jam that one on the flop. I was going to do the check jam, but as played, I don't mind check calling on the dry turn card. And then the river, we just have to decide, you know, has he really slow played a hand? Like, has he really got pocket fours? Or has he really got king queen, bluff turn, and then now goes for value with top pair? Some of the time, yes, but I think a lot of the time you can just have bluffs. Ace 2 as well, I was a little bit worried about, you know, the straight pot. I guess pocket 3s are possible, but, you know, you might even jam pockets pre. So it's kind of annoying. Bit of a messy one. But, yeah. Be nice if we can hit some flops with these Broadway hands. These ace kings and so forth. And we just want to flip 3s. We're back. Back in that one. Doing pretty well top right. 13 of 380, so it's still early, but got ourselves pretty well stacked. Stacked. Bottom left. This guy's so short. I think I'm just going to ISO, to be honest. Kind of a big one, but don't think the guy behind is going to call hardly ever. Hard to win them flips. Oh, so hard. Hard to win those dominations. Hard to win flips, hard to win when we're dominated. Hard to win when we're dominating them. Although we did win with kings before against 8s and 9s. We did hold up with the kings, so can't complain too much. See how the king 10 goes top left. Oh, that's that dominated scenario again. Can we get any chops? No. Let us just get a little bit of something going here. I don't want to say luck. That'd be asking for too much, but just give us a tinsy miracle. What have we got coming up? Bounty Builder 44 coming up, so that's good. Probably could size down a little bit. That bet sizing of 39% is probably a little bit on the high side, that C-bet. It doesn't need to be quite that high. On that board, we could almost just call with King Jack. I think he's got a lot of draws, but I prefer to have ace high, I think. Checking is okay as well. I just think he's going to be folding tons on that board, though. Over folding. I'm just talking about this board here, guys, by the way, just so you know. 6, 6, 7, 2 hearts. When you check raises, I guess you could have 4, 5, 5, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10 hearts. So we could have the best hand. I prefer to be maybe bet calling with ace high, though, as well as obviously some made hands. But this hand's probably actually a decent candidate to check back. Has some showdown. Could pick up some good turn cards. So, yeah, maybe that would be a nice one to check back, I guess. But I don't think betting is necessarily unprofitable, but maybe checking back the hand might be play a little bit better. So this guy c-bets on this board. I think I'm just going to check. Am I going to check raise? Yeah, I think I will just check raise, yeah. Puts him in kind of a tough spot. I mean, if he wants to, he could make it. Wow, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is very interesting now. We have 2 pair. We could have the best hand. I feel like he's gonna have a 6 some of the time, but I do feel like he can have a lot of like maybe 9s that didn't want to get it in, or ace king with the ace of spades, something like that. Or maybe a flush draw. Hopefully he doesn't have 8s. That would be a bit annoying. I think if he bets here, we're probably going to have to call. I would have thought he'd bet a 6 on the turn, but I guess he could get tricky. So just had the 7. I think the way he played it is fine. I mean, he's going to have to call a check raise flop. It's interesting, though, the power of the check raise, because, you know, if he calls, I mean, if on the turn, after he's called, if it's like a jack of spades and we fire again, he's in a pretty tough spot. Queen of spades turn, we fire hard, like he's in a really tricky spot. So, by check raising the flop, the reason why I did that is because we've got a hand that needs a lot of protection, and we're out of position. So it's going to be tricky to play. If we can pick up the pot immediately, it's a great result. And just to avoid any high cards coming that might give him the best hand or just increase his equity, we have the best hand a fair bit on this flop. We got decent equity with a gut shot bottom pair anyway. And then once he calls and we make 2 pair, just hoping he has like, you know, ace 5, you know, 7x, king 5. Maybe he's just got 10s and he just didn't want to get it all in the flop because he thinks, well, I could be crushed. It's not impossible, I guess, to assume that. So he might have a straight or a set, I guess he thinks sometimes. Yeah, and sometimes we would. Okay, interesting one. Yeah, but the point is really, I think, just that kind of give yourself a lot. Oh, this is a good spot. We got to go for 2 knockouts. And we got the, I think we're actually going to win this one. Not. Felt like we were going to win a hand. Got a little bit excited. I'm going to ISO this guy here with ace 9. It's a knockout and he's only M4. I think he can have all the worst aces and maybe some suited connectors and high cards and stuff. And I mean, we're not that deep against to be too worried about that guy there. Yeah, just going to jam that. Who's that? Hard to win a hand, isn't it? It's very, very hard. I might just go for this one. Definitely, actually. I don't know what took me so long. I mean, it was limp, 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 dead money everywhere. And he's only what was he, M4. We got King Jack suited. Obviously a bit unlucky that he had a monster. The monster. I think we will check top right. It's not that many bad cards, a king or a 10 specifically. It's a bit pretty hard. I think we've probably got to call one and then just decide on the river what we want to do. We do block queen 10, queen 8. He could have missed clubs. He could just be donking around because we checked. He could have an ace, I guess. He might have shoved an ace pre. I'm kind of actually leaning towards a call here, to be honest. I mean, we're getting a good price, and he could just be donking around. He's donking around. So the check really paid off there. Yeah, he's just gone for it there, I guess. I think between the chance that he has a hand like 7, 8, 8, 10, 10 queen, king 10 maybe, stuff like that. As well as some fish hands like he had, queen 7. As opposed to the times that he has ace X or a jack, trip jacks. I think that makes getting a 3-to-1 price on the river a pretty easy call. Relatively easy, relatively. Especially when you factor in that he's probably going to just jam pre with a certain number of aces. Like if he's got like ace 8 plus, he might just shove it pre. And even if he's got, I guess, like king, jack, jack, queen, he might shove that pre, and we did have a queen blocker. So I guess I expect him to roll like 10 jack or like ace 5 some of the time, and then rest of the time just bananas like he had. Bananas. And we managed to maintain a nice healthy stack there. Gonna jam the ace king. Gonna jam the 7s. Can we win a flip? Can we? No, we can't. It's tough to win a hand. Can we? Can we? Can we? 7. Oh my lordy lordy. Oh lordy lordy. We cannot win a hand. We cannot win a hand. I think I'm just going to check raise here with the king. 4. Just check shove it. Backdoor clubs. High card. Need a fair bit of protection. Keep it simple. Can we? No. Just waiting for the king on the river. I think, you know, you check call flop, the pot's pretty bloated, the turn's a queen, you check. He fires, things get pretty tricky. So I don't mind just getting it in fast out of position there. Most of the time I think he's just going to fold. Sometimes he's going to call with worse. You know, if he's got like ace king or something, he might just call. Maybe even a tiny pair. A baby pair. But he was kind of in early position, so I mean I think he was second, so he's going to have a fair number of overpairs in his range there, and just a bit unfortunate that's what he had this time. 6. I think we're going to have to go for this one with the 6s. I don't think we're so deep that we can be too choosy. I think our equity, I mean, he's only limped and he's jammed M5, so you could have hands like, you know, like his guy, you could have King 10. Can we win a flip? 2. Oh! We have one hand. Call the police. Just make sure that it's legit. Get it verified. We have a flip. We are on a roll. 1 flip in a row. This is going up from here. 1 flip in a row. Let's try to get to the 2. Try and make it get to a new milestone. About that much, maybe? Wow. Races? Really? Thought it was like checked turn. Was it not? I don't think he's ever bluffing here. We can actually fold. I'm a little bit lost in the action because I was so excited about winning a flip before, but I just don't think he's ever bluffing there. Could be wrong. We got a little bit caught up because we won that flip before. Ooh, maybe he is bluffing. Wow. Could be. Could just think, well, you haven't bet flop or turn, so you haven't got an ace. I think we probably have to call there. Seems like it might have been a little bluff. Could be a bit of a misfold. So it's it's one of those things where it's just the most horrendous bluff ever. Like if he's bluffing, it's like one of those ones where you just shake your head and go, "Really, guy? Like you really expect to get credit after you check flop, check turn, and then raise river like on a brick, the repeat ace? Like really? Are you really thinking that? Like is it your first day playing poker? What world do you live in where you think you get fold equity, where you think that's a convincing bluff story? But having said that, I think he was bluffing. I think he was. I really do. But yeah, maybe he just got tricky with ace 10 and just double checked it. 4-way. Maybe he had some weird hand like he flopped a set and come on, someone's going to bet. Please, come on, finally. It was either something like that or the kind of hand we had, or just fresh air, King 10. And he was just like, no, you don't have anything. I think I'm going to fold down there. We flopped top 2, but in high-low, when there's a flush draw, straight draw, and the low draw, you could actually argue for just folding flop, to be honest. I think I'm going to put a little raise in here. It doesn't have to work very often. Doesn't have to work ever. It never even has to work to be profitable. Best situation is he calls, and then the turn is a deuce of hearts. Gets me a bit excited. And then somehow we get there. He folds. You could tell he didn't want to. He's like, no, aces up. Damn you. Damn you, aces up. I think I might just shoot. Man, I just shove it. There's too much in there. I was just thinking, you know, it's a 20 rebuy, so come on, diamond one time. Come on, let us win a hand. I was just thinking kind of they might call a little bit loose. So fold equity is not huge. And well, trying to avoid rebuys is good for tournament EV. So sometimes in spots like that, playing a little bit more passively can be fine. Because you don't want to spend a lot on rebuys. But having said that, yeah, I mean, we had an over with a flush draw, and the pot was already big. I mean, just calling, especially he bet 3/4 pot. Calling seemed a little bit silly. Come on, threes. Let us win a hand. One time! It's relentless, isn't it? It is relentless. I think it's going to turn soon, and we're going to go on a winning frenzy. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking you've been saying that ace is up for about 18. You've been saying that for about 30 months. That it has to end soon, but it really does. It has to soon. It has to. We can't just lose 8 out of 10 pots forever. Eventually, we have to win 8 out of 10. Get the reversal. I think 5-6. I think I might even just 3-bet call here. The question is, do we just flat pre or do we 3-bet get it in? I guess, yeah. We did it. We did it. We won one. If he's going to jam hands there, like, you know, 5s, ace 10, stuff like that, then playing it that way, I think, is fine. Once we make the 3-bet, we give ourselves just crazy odds to call off when he jams, because he only had about 7.8, I think, 8, you know, somewhere around there. So I think I will fire one more top right. It's a pretty good hand to do it with. Actually, you know what? I'm thinking about firing 3. I just don't know if this guy's going to fold an ace, though. That's all. I might go for it, actually. Just think we can fold out a 10 on the turn. I think he's going to have a lot of 10x. Well, he's not going to fold an ace now, is he? Please. Please have 6-7 of spades, please. You know, it would have been interesting to see what he would have done on the river. Because if the river was you know, like an 8, I think I was going to jam. Not jam, sorry. Just bet. Jam would have been a bit big. Well, I don't hate a jam. It seems like he can never call. But I think at ace-5, he probably just calls down, to be honest. He's got his 3 stars showing. You know, he's flopped his ace. He's flopped top pair. All of his dreams have come true. He's not folding, I don't think, from that point. He's just going to call. Even though the board developed for him pretty bad, really. I mean, we can have Jack Queen, King 10, Ace 10, Ace King, Kings, 10s, Ace Queen, Ace Jack, Ace 9. We can have anything. I think he's just not folding, is the sad truth. Interesting here where the guy 2.5x's we get this dry board. I think, given the fact that the S power is 2, I always checked. I think I'm going to bet here and try and get value from Ace King. Hopefully he doesn't have quads. That'd be annoying. I mean, I guess he could check with aces and kings. That'd be a good play, but I don't know if these guys really do good plays that often. Interesting that he minis. Just thinking if it's better to jam or just call. Probably better to just call. Guess. The most weirdest line ever. He's really trying to tell us that he's got quads, or maybe aces, I guess. We're getting such a crazy price. But I feel like he's got it virtually always, so I'm going to fold. I hadn't really planned to fold, but I just don't think he's bluffing there. I hope. I hope. I hope. I think if he's got ace king, like he just calls turn, I think. Ugh. It makes me shudder a bit. Looking at it. Like, it's pretty gross. It's kind of a bit of gross, but... Oh, I've lost focus on this other hand now. I lost focus down there. Can we ever... These guys both call? I think we're just going to get in now, SPR 0.5. Such a weird hand. Twos and 10-4. Are you serious, people? Twos and 10-4. Yeah, such a weird spot here. Wow, he mini raises it. That's so sick. I think he could have spazzed out, you know. He could actually have spazzed here with ace queen or king queen. He could have gone to spaz town. Nah, did he? Did he go to spaz town? What do you think he's got? Does he ever just go, no, you're bluffing, you got nothing, aces up, I'm raising. You know how the fish do that? They just go, no, I'm raising, you're betting, you got nothing. They're not really thinking about anything. You know, he's not like sitting there with ace queen going, well, if he's got a pair, he's not folding, and if he's got, you know, worse than I got, then I have the best hand. With one card to come, I may as well just call. He's not thinking logically. I could see him checking like aces or kings, or well, maybe not queens, but aces or kings on that flop. Or having quad tens or ace 10, I guess. Could, I guess, picked up clubs as well. You know, he could have like king queen or ace queen of clubs and decide, well, I've got, you know, a big draw now as well as what might be the best hand. I'm just going to raise. And then river's a flush. Does he have ace king or ace queen and do that? It's pretty close. I mean, we're getting a good price on the end, that's all. And he's played it so spazzy that the old, when you see a spazzy line, it probably is a guy being a spaz kind of notion. It's probably worth paying heed to in this spot. 13 into 45, giving like 3.5 to 1. Flip time! No jack. No jack. All right. We still got chips in that one. Popped back up. I mean, at the end of the day, we UTG and he's second, but sometimes these guys, you know, they don't factor that in. They don't really care about it. They just go, well, I've got king, queen, I'm raising. Yeah, it's a tough one. I feel like we should call from like a... Just in terms of not being exploited and pot odds and all that sort of stuff, I feel like we're supposed to call. But exploitively wise, I feel like maybe we can fold just because Yeah, but I've seen so many weird, I've seen so much weird stuff today though. And we got this guy Webhole from 3 betting from second, like it's just whole image and everything, like he just he's from Canada, sorry Canadians. Oh man. I feel like maybe we should just pay him off there. Looking at it now, I want to go back and call. And if he shows me kings, I can sleep tonight. You know, okay, did have it. The jack shouldn't really... I mean, I guess he could have ace jack, but shouldn't really change anything. What do I say? I mean, he min-raise turn. He should have it. He should have the nuts. He's a min-raise turn. He's probably got it. When fish min-raise turn, they normally have it. I think we can bet this one down here. But backdoor flush, got shot. We got third nut low. Got a little bit of high equity. It's not awesome. Wow, interesting. Up and down, diamond. I might just check there. We just have to bet here now. I think we can get bet pretty hard, because if he's got a big diamond, he's probably not folding. Probably even go harder than that. Like if he's got ace king with a diamond, I just don't think he's ever folding, so. He probably just shoves it. So, I mean, if he's got like ace king with a diamond, he's going to have like 24% equity, I think. Oh, he's got a set and he's got a house. Oh, why, Lord? Just let us win one. We won one and then you punish us with like the next 4 or 5. Just let us get to that 2 mark. I want to get to 2, you know? I want to win 2 hands in a row one day. That's my goal. 2016, 2 hands in a row. I'm writing it down on my whiteboard. Win 2 hands in a row. I'm a big believer in goals. So I'm going to write it on the whiteboard. I'm going to come back after this break refreshed, and that's the objective. Win 2 hands in a row. I think we can do it. If we keep getting it in like that as a 80% favorite, I think we've got a chance. Let's do it, people. I'll be back after this break, fresh and ready to go. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. This has been Aces Up for PokerNerve.